Hi, my name's Antony Cummins and I want to talk to you today about samurai fighting. How did a samurai really fight? And by this, what I mean is, I don't mean like, he did move one and move two and, block one, block two and all that. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, how did actual samurai combat look, or what happened? The image we have is of warriors coming together and picking their correct partner or the person they consider of equal, and then they would declare their family name and they would start fighting. This is actually a bit of a myth and or a half-truth, and it has its idea in very ancient samurai warfare at the start, when it was much more open, much more horseback, and much more, not ritualised, I wouldn't say that, but it was a little bit different to what we class as a samurai period. Of course, the samurai period is all samurai times, but what we're talking about, what most people think about when they think about samurai times, really what they think about is called the Sengoku period. This is the 1500s. This is what they mainly think about. So, I'm going to talk to you today about the Sengoku period. Now, what would happen is a samurai is an independent warrior. He does work in groups and he does work in teams, but technically he is a person unto himself and he serves the Lord. He has his groom, he has his stable hand, he has his sandal carrier, has his helmet bearer, he has his men at arms. He may have 10, 20 men, he may have 1 or 2 men. It all depends on how rich he is. But what would happen is the samurai would go into combat and what would happen first is the ashigami, the foot soldiers, would walk in and they would have rifles, sorry, not rifles, they would have muskets or arquebuses. And they would line up in formation, they would shoot, and they would shoot the enemy and then arrows at each other and stand behind bundles of bamboo. But then they would clear away and the samurai would start marching towards each other in formation. And the first 2 people to clash on a field of battle were actually called Ichiban Yari, which means the first spear. That was the first 2 people to clash. And if you won Ichiban Yari and didn't die, it was an amazing honour. And you even had a helper, they even had a helper with them to quickly cut the head from the dead man and take it back to camp, because you won Ichiban Yari. The second man into combat is Niban Yari, and they do actually have Sanban Yari, third man, but it's very rare, it's only in massive battles. So normally it stops at Niban Yari. But then everything would, mix into melee and general melee, and that way cavalry would be going around and some arrows would be flying over your head. Now what happened here is that you could work in teams, and again I said you've got your men at arms, which is obviously a loose English translation. But what you would do is, one example comes from Samurai War Stories, this book here. This was written in 1650 about the Sengoku period, and a great samurai, what he would do is he had a rake or like a hooked pole arm, and he would go out into battle and he'd be hitting people and he'd hook people and drag them off to the side and he'd throw them into his men. His men would grapple and put them on the ground and then cut their heads off, and they'd start taking a pile of heads. In this document he actually takes 10 heads before he's killed himself. And of course you get teams going out and tracking people, you get people who follow those retreating, and you get general clashes of teams who bring up spear formations. So I hope that's helped you bring about a bit of a better idea of what's going on in samurai combat. While they do declare their name at times, sometimes, and there is a little bit of the romantic idea still there, in truth it was lots of formations, lots of archery, lots of arrows, and there was dragging people to the side, there was teamwork, especially ninja. Ninja worked in team to kill other people and all that. You can find all this stuff in our work and in the translations. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Just go to the links below and check everything out, you'll find it all there. Thank you for watching, my name's Antony Cummins, hope to see you again soon.